Welcome to the Amanda Hoyle Show. Today I am sitting in Toy Box Studios with Ian Rushing. So Ian is actually who filmed and produced most of our beginning episodes. So I'm very excited to sit here with him today so we can talk to him about his business and how he got started.
Coming up.
You're such an ass. Okay, Ian, first I want to know what made you want to be a part of the show? I think is a good one to ask because it was such a big part of the show, you jumping in and doing this with me.
Well, you sold it really well. I think, I saw a lot of potential in what you're doing with the show. Everyone can use a little bit more motivation. So, as a creative person, I just thought a lot of opportunity for me to be able to use some of that creativity and hopefully help your show go even further. So.
Well, I really appreciate it. I know that it wouldn't have been anything that it was if it wasn't for you. So thank you.
Oh, our pleasure.
And now I just want to dive into you and find out. So I know you told me that you're from Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful up there. I'm sure I've never been.
It's a great place to visit.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. But I want to know why you left.
Oh, gosh. Alaska is a beautiful place. Like I said, a great place to visit. There's not a ton of opportunity there for what I do. My past is news. In a former life, I worked in news for many years. Started out in market 156, I think is what Anchorage was back then. Operates like a much bigger market just because it covers the entire state. And for those who don't know, Alaska is huge. It's not that little island down by Hawaii. So worked in news there and kind of hit the ceiling. And there wasn't a lot further to go there. So knew some people here in the DC area, moved down here not having a job, expected to live here about maybe 6 months while I was applying for jobs across the country. And it's been almost 13 years now that I've been here. So.
Okay, so you were applying for jobs. Did you work other jobs before you started Toy Box?
Yeah. I worked in news for, 8 years here before we started Toy Box. And then Toy Box has been going for almost 9 years now. And so it's one of my many businesses at this point. I've been a part of helping start almost 5 businesses at this point. So I don't know if I ever saw myself as an entrepreneur when I was younger.
Yeah.
Definitely not what got me started working in news. It was more about the storytelling. I've always loved telling stories. And it's funny, me and my business partner not too long ago actually did an interview at the White House with the current president, which, regardless of where you stand politically, is always an opportunity. That's
an incredible achievement.
Yeah, it's we took a little picture beforehand in this the Blue Room, I believe it was, just outside of the Oval Office. And I had people commenting on Facebook about, oh, it seems like just yesterday you were, that 14-year-old kid running around the woods with your video camera.
So you've always been into video?
Always been into video to a degree. The reason is, there's a little bit of a backstory there that's interesting.
Okay,
a lot of people don't know.
Let's hear it.
So I wanted to be the next Jim Henson growing up.
Okay. Now, okay, we're going to pause here for a minute. Not literally.
I threw her for a loop.
We're going to keep talking, but this is the thing. Whenever I was doing the Friday introductions on Instagram, you said that you did do some puppet show stuff.
Yeah.
So
I toured the country for 3 months. We did 3-week tours out of Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And then we'd come back for a week and then do another 3-week tour. So, yeah, we did a 30-minute musical, and I was 18 at the time.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah.
What a cool thing to have on your resume.
I still almost daily, have memories of that trip.
That's so awesome. Okay, now go back to your story then.
Sure.
Tell us about the backstory.
So Jim Henson, if you don't know who Jim Henson is, shame on you, first of all. Go watch some Muppets. But he knew a little bit about everything. He did a little bit of everything in the productions. And so in high school, I was like, all right, well, I want to learn as much as I can and soak up as much information as I possibly could to make that dream a reality. So I took a vocational class, called Radio and Television Production. And through that, actually ended up getting my foot in the door at the first TV station that I worked at. So I've literally been working at TV stations since I was in high school.
Yeah, it's like, though, that's how you know that it's your passion, because when you've been doing it for that long, and do you still love it? Would you say that you didn't?
It's funny. So, starting my own company, the first Toy Box, our first company, it was kind of born of necessity. Mm-hmm. Back in 2008, the economy crashed a bit, and I had just left a full-time job to go freelance at a second TV station here in the DC area. Ended up getting laid off twice in 2 months. Cashed out my 401k, bought all my own gear, and haven't looked back.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I know exactly how we can wrap this up because if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boats. And when your back's against the wall, that's exactly when you're going to make moves and do what you need to do.
Yeah. It's funny. I've said this for years. You don't get anywhere by playing it safe.
Yeah.
It was definitely not a safe move to cash out my 401k.
And not only that, but to start a videography company where that wasn't necessarily a need in 2008. A lot of people were just, trying to get by. So that's another good point, though. You started it in the middle of winter, basically. When they say when you start a business in the middle of winter, that's when you know if it's successful. If it's successful in winter, then you're going to be successful on through. In 9 years, most people can't make it past the first 5.
Yep. Yeah, we're in planning mode for our 10-year anniversary as a company, so I'm looking forward to that.
I hope I get an invitation. So why video over anything else, like photography, or what made you choose to do cinematography instead?
Sure. Obviously a big part of that was my background, having worked in news. And I think, storytelling, news isn't as much storytelling anymore as it used to be. And I feel like I got out of news right about the right time. I get to tell stories on a daily basis, and whether that's working with another nonprofit that we've worked with, or telling somebody's story of their wedding day, or, doing video that appears in a presidential ad campaign piece. We've done everything in between there, and they all have their own stories. We actually do a lot of work with nonprofits. I always find it fascinating how we've fallen into this niche of working with nonprofits. They don't always have the biggest budgets, but they always have some of the better stories.
Right.
And one of the nonprofits that we're actually working with right now, we're both Carrie, my fiance, and office manager, and I are getting ready to head over to Zambia for 10 days to do some film work there and do some gardening work there, and just help out however we can. And this will actually be my 3rd trip over there. So I'm really looking forward to getting back over there. But also just to be able to tell some more of those stories.
Right, and then spread the message to more people who probably have no idea what's even going on over there.
Yeah, it's the organization that we're going with is the Meant to Live Foundation. They're local DC based, but they have a very close connection over there. And their whole premise is that, everybody was meant to live for a life, a life filled with whatever it is you want to fill it with. But so many people over there, there's tons of orphans. I think there's about 300 and some orphans that we'll be working directly with. And they were meant to live for more than the life that they are currently living sometimes. So one of the things that we've been doing is working on building a school. That opened, actually, one of the schools opened up the last time I was over there. So getting to see some of the fruition of some of the work that we've done that is possible through some of the videos that we've done. They've been able to raise a huge chunk of funds to be able to open these schools because of some of the videos that we've done.
That's so great, because if you think about it, you started this business because you didn't have a choice, and then look at what it's turned into, and now more than just profit, which obviously is important to maintain a business, but to be able to give back at the same time, it makes it very rewarding. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm still shocked some days. I wake up and I think about all the things that we've done, whether it's events we've covered or videos that we've been a part of. I'm just, you know, I'm just amazed from time to time. We've over the years we've put together an amazing team here, and we've really kind of grown in ways that I don't think I ever thought possible when we started this.
That's great. That's great. So 9 years is a long time. I'm sure you've captured a lot of people over the years. Do you have a favorite story from?
Gosh, that's a good question. I definitely have ones that stand out. We've done a lot of work with Luke's Wings over the years. It's a local nonprofit that all they do is provide flights for family members of wounded soldiers. Hugely important mission that they're on. And some of the stories we've gotten to tell of some of the individual soldiers that they've helped and their families, hugely impactful. To be in the room when that video was playing to a crowd of several hundred people, to be able to hear a pin drop and, not a dry eye in the room at the same time. It's just, I think I get weirdly excited making a room full of people cry.
Right.
But, there's just something really powerful and special about being able to do that kind of storytelling.
Right, and feel that energy and the movement of people understanding. And I'm sure we don't want people to cry, but when you see them cry, you know that they get it. Yeah. And that is so important.
Yep. It's our unofficial motto. We make people cry for a living.
I've said that a few times too. What about prior to Toy Box? Do you have any favorite stories from prior to Toy Box?
Yeah, it's funny. Working in news, I've covered everything from presidential inaugurations to shuttle launches. But I think the one that stands out still the most was when I worked in Anchorage, Alaska. We flew to the very top of Alaska, again, long ways away. From there, we flew another 200 miles, I believe it was, north in a small plane, landed. They had a runway built in the ice pack up there. Mm-hmm. Where we landed, the ice was about 12 feet thick, where they had this runway and a camp set up, and they had some holes cut in the ice. They were doing sonar experiments. So we did a series of interviews and shot some video there, and then we flew a few miles away by helicopter from there, landed where the ice was only a foot thick. Now, I'm not a very good swimmer, so knowing that there's basically, a foot of ice between me and nothing,
okay.
It was an adventure. So we get there, and they're basically like, all right, point your camera somewhere between here and here, and a submarine, USS Connecticut, started surfacing through the ice pack. The ice started buckling. It came real slow, and the ice is like there's water flowing in like just to my left, and it was unreal. They came up and kind of cut some steps in the ice, and then we boarded the submarine and did a few more interviews and shot some more video and called it a day.
And how old were you when you did that?
Oh gosh, it would have been early 20s.
That's so incredible.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. That's why it's so good for people to put themselves in positions like that where they're going to experience something totally unknown and crazy.
Yeah, it's probably the one thing I miss most about news is just, every day was a different adventure.
Yeah.
You never knew what you were going to be covering.
That's pretty cool. Do you think you'll ever go back to news?
I hope not.
Okay. Not now, anyway.
I hope not.
Okay.
I find it real hard to work for other people now that I've worked for myself.
That's true, though.
It's real tricky to go back and
have
to take orders from someone that may or may not know what they're talking about.
That's so true, though. I agree. I could never, because I've been in business for myself since 2008, 2009, and I fully know.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
You have this level of freedom and then of course the experience that you have from through all the years, and then having somebody trying to tell you how to do your job that you've been doing since.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. It's all good. So now, will you tell us what you would tell somebody who is going to go down that path of no longer having a boss themselves and they want to go into the creative world?
Yeah. It all starts with that first step. You're not going to get anywhere without taking that first step. It's kind of like playing the lottery. You can't win unless you play.
True.
So it's a lot of work working for yourself. A lot of work. I don't think I could have ever imagined the amount of work that it is involved with it, especially to be, somewhat successful. But it's very rewarding work. It does take a certain type of person, but like I said, the reward at the end of the day, having employees now that I'm responsible for their paycheck is still, it's a mind trip some days. But yeah, like I said earlier, you never get anywhere by playing it safe. Whether that's cashing out your 401k, whether that's taking a leap and quitting your day job, you want to make sure you have some fail safes built in. I think when I left my day job, we had enough weddings booked through the year that I knew I was going to be safe for at least the next however many months.
Right.
And from there, it just grew.
Very cool. Okay, last question. What would you tell 19, 18-year-old Ian, like right whenever you were first getting started to do anything? What would you tell him?
Sleep as much as you can now. Gosh, I think that's probably honestly one of the things I would say. I don't think I ever would have realized how much work is involved with working for yourself. But I think if I could go back and know that before, I probably would have started a lot sooner.
But you would have still done it.
Yes.
The work wouldn't have stopped you.
I mean, I've got, how many companies now?
Yeah. There's
glutton for punishment.
It's all your own fault. It's good though.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you stopping by our new studio.
Yeah. It was fun to shoot here instead of in the kitchen. Kind of different, but hopefully everybody likes it.
I didn't know what I would have cooked, so.
Me neither. Okay, so where can we find you? Where can people follow you and see what's going on?
I'm everywhere. You'll
Batman?
never see me coming. We are on Instagram at Toy Box Studios DC. We are on Twitter. Does anybody still use Twitter?
I don't.
Toy Box Studios DC. Facebook, Toy Box Studios. And then our website, toyboxstudios.com.
And I will link all of that below, as always, because...
All below?
Like literally down. You gotta go down.
Scroll down.
Scroll. So every time we film, Ian has to remind me about 100 times what to say at the intro and the outro of the videos. So today, it's you.
It's really fairly simple. We're going to put all the links below. You can find us there. You can find all of her information down there as well. If you like the show, like, share, subscribe. It's a tongue twister. You never know if someone else might find this show helpful.
Literally. I'll take.
No, it's staying. It's staying. It's staying. He said it, guys. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time. That was good. High five. I love that you got so messed up.
You were so confident walking in.
I was. It's a tongue twister.
You're like, it's really quite simple.
I know. I knew I was going to set myself up by saying that too.